What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Well, today's video is probably going to upset a few people, and that's not the it's not the point of it. What the point of it is to try to get people to open their minds and understand and see something from a different perspective. Now, I think it was my friend Tanya Miller. I'm pretty sure it was Tanya. So Tanya's getting the credit. So if it wasn't her, Tanya, you're still getting the credit because I don't remember where I saw it, but it was a post on Instagram. I believe it was Instagram. It was about basically science, and maybe it wasn't Tanya. I don't, Tanya, you're getting the credit for it anyways. But basically, it was talking about what's going on right now in the pandemic, and how scientists have been so wrong about so many things about this virus since it started. I mean, it was basically like they've been wrong 85% of the time. And the post was about now the whole world gets to see how science truly works in real time. How science constantly comes back and rebuts itself and finds out that it was originally wrong, and science continuously evolves and finds new things and things that they once thought were, the only way things were done or the right way to do things, or, whatever the case may be. They find not only is it not the right way, but it's not the only way. They find other things, and science kind of self-corrects itself consistently. However, that's true. However, you have to be consistently looking further ahead to find those other things. Now let me explain. We have had that bro-science debate been going on for quite some time. Now, the statement about the coronavirus and pandemic easily is applied to bodybuilding too, is that we don't really see in real time how the different situations that scientists have gone through in different studies they put together and double-blinded placebos, all the things that they've done, right, to get their data, right? We didn't see all the things in between about how wrong they were. So to us, it appears like we know what we're doing, we do the study, and we're right, right? It looks almost like arrogant and kind of off-putting by how right scientific people are all the time. Now, the reason why they're right is they have a paper to back up what they said. That's what makes them right. They've done some kind of study, done some kind of work, and they have data to back it up. Now, what we're not told, right, and what Tanya's post really kind of hammered home was, that's not the end of it. That paper that person is arguing with you about how muscle is built, fat loss occurs, etc., that's not the final word. And a real scientist, somebody who's really into science, would say, this is not the final word. Now, Alan Argonne is a perfect example of somebody who I really truly believes is really into the science, right? It's not just about being right or wrong. It's not about putting other people down. It's about the science. So when he puts something up, I will question it. So now he put up a post about fed cardio versus fasted cardio, right? And all the data, all the science, the paper that comes out says they're both the same. They're both exactly the same, right? And then I questioned, well, how come, myself and many other trainers across the world and bodybuilders across the world have seen better results with fasted cardio than fed, and we've all done it both ways, right? And the conclusion is always, don't really know. There must be something else going on because fast and fed cardio are exactly the same. Therefore, do whatever you want because they're exactly the same. They're interchangeable, right? And as I was reading the post that Alan had put up, I said, has there ever been a study that took fasted cardio and fed training, right? And then fed cardio and fasted training, and then swapped them. So you trained first fed or trained first fasted, and then later on you did cardio fast or you did fed. Now we're looking at a whole different dynamic because most bodybuilders don't just do cardio in the morning and do nothing else. They do cardio and a weight training session. How does that change it? And Alan was like, it's never been studied. I looked. I don't know. Good point. Now, that paper that is fasted cardio and fed cardio is the beginning, because that's not just what bodybuilders do. However, that is held up as gospel to bodybuilders. In science, that is going to be proven wrong when you start adding in the workout aspect of also. When you start adding in the weight workout, that changes the way that your body reacts within that given time. So now you have a dynamic that hasn't been studied, but people argue that you're stupid, that it doesn't work. And I think that's really what we're seeing. And now, my thing is, let's take everything bro science and put it aside, science put it aside. What have we seen? What have I seen? What have you seen? What have we seen in the gym that science says is not accurate? Well, we've seen the fasted cardio work better. Well, science says that's not accurate. Well, could it be that what we just saw on Tanya Miller's post, and again, it may not have been Tanya. I apologize, Tanya, but you're getting the credit for it, right? Because that sparked the the wondering and then my mind wandering and stuff. So, could it be that that's the truth? That science always will find out what's wrong with it originally came up with and find out a new thing. Science always self-corrects, right? That's how it works, and it's not just from point A to point B. It's point A, B, C, D, E, F till you get to Z, right? And who knows what's after Z? There might be something after that, right? We just don't know. But the bottom line is, if science is self-correcting like that, how can people that only go by the papers, that swear that they're into the science, don't realize that that paper very well could be just the beginning of what's really going on, and try to demean, defame, or put down somebody who has seen something different that's not on the paper, right? Well, these science people, shouldn't they know that science self-corrects itself? What happens if this person over here, who's the bro, has found the next thing that needs to be studied on top of what's over here that's just the beginning? So fasted and fed cardio, fasted cardio and fed weight training, and then fed cardio and fed weight training, and then fed cardio and fasted weight training, and like all those combinations to see which one truly is the most ideal, the most efficient, works better than the other ones, to see if there is a difference between, the study with the fasted and fed cardio. When you have fasted cardio and fed training, I bet you the results are much different with it. And then if you did fed cardio and fasted training, I bet you the results are much different. I bet you every instance there's a difference, and that's what bodybuilders are doing. They're creating full routines, full programs of multifaceted things, not just fasted or fed cardio. So I really stepped back and I said, that's a really good point to bring up with the bodybuilding community, because we're so used to, well, science paper says this, that's gospel, and we roll with it. Or the flip side is, hey, I'm a bro and I don't care about the science. Well, what if there was a way, right, for us to all understand that, hey, this science that we have here that tells us this, that's interesting. I've also seen this. So this is not the last word. Okay, I'm not saying that this is the only way. I'm not saying this is the wrong way. What I'm saying is this is not the last word. So I see this over here. The results are better, and I'm doing something different over here, but the paper dictates only this works because science says only this works. This is how it works, right? But we see something else over here. Let's put this aside and let's concentrate on this. Let's everybody focus on this. Instead of the people saying stuck on the science paper saying, well, only that paper matters, so that's how it is. Why don't they say, well, that's interesting. That's what we know for a fact, right? This works. But what about this? This person's saying this works. Let me delve into that. The ego is so big it won't allow those science people to think that someone who didn't have a PhD, who didn't run a study, who didn't know what the fuck they were doing, and stumbled upon something that was already further ahead than the science that they put all that work into. But I think that the people that are locked down with the fact that this paper is the be-all end-all forgets that the way that that paper came about was someone had an idea or stumbled upon something themselves. Like, that's how it works. It's not like somebody wakes up in the morning and they go, okay, well, today we're going to study fasted cardio because I know the bioenergetic system works like this. No, they don't. They get up and they go, that's interesting. I have this friend, he's doing fasted cardio. I have this friend who's doing fed cardio. Their results are pretty much the same. Let me look into both of those. It was an idea, right? It was like stumbling upon something. It was something for them to go, that's interesting, let's study that. Well, I find the things that a lot of the bros are doing, including things that I've seen throughout the years, interesting because there's no data to back it up. So rather than arguing about who's right, who's wrong, science rules and stuff, we know science is important, but science self-corrects itself because there is no bottom line. There is no perfect, underlying, determined way to do something. There are multiple ways and multiple systems in the body. And we also know that the bros are not bound by these papers. They use logic, they use reasoning, and they use what they feel and what they can see. So they're technically using more, instinctual, natural ways, like their own instincts and their visual and their, what they can see and feel is going on, as opposed to the machines that you hook up to the person, where the science people are getting their data. So let's back it up again. Before there were all these science machines, people still understood the body and they understood science. How? Because they were doing what the bros are doing, right? They were listening, they were paying attention, they were observing, they were making decisions based on logic and reasoning, right? And then when they came out with the medical stuff, oh, well, that stuff helps this a great bit. But these two things still go together. So why we are still arguing right now, why we're still fighting right now, doesn't make any sense to me. It makes zero sense to me. I think that we should all be on the same page. And if somebody who is really into science and stuff hears something that a bro is doing, instead of being like, well, that's bullshit because the paper, why don't you just listen to the person? Why don't you go, well, that's interesting. He's saying this. That doesn't seem possible. Let me look into that. Let me see if there's a mechanism as to why that's happening. Delve into it, because you yourself could be the person digging up something that's far more advanced based on what you're seeing and hearing and looking at from a person that just stumbled upon it. You could be that middle link. Shut this phone off because it's going crazy. That middle link, that bridge that brings it all together. But you have to be aware that if you truly are a scientist and you are into science, the ego has to be put aside. Because ego will keep you from going further and looking for other things that generate new science and new data that needs to be built upon from the one thing that you looked at over here, but there's all this other stuff that goes with it. So I think that working together is the key. Putting the egos aside is the hard part. On the bros and the science people, both sides. Nobody wants to be wrong. And that's the thing, is neither one of those sides are wrong. They're both right. But they have to get on the same page to be able to prove to the world that working together will get you further ahead than arguing and standing your ground about some stupid emotional thing that you're attached to, because you can't wrap your head around the fact that we should be working together. And there really is no first place, second place. No. If science and bro work together, everybody wins. Right? Science wins, bro wins, everybody that learns what they came up with wins, everybody wins. Why the fuck would you not want everybody to win? Exactly. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BioStrength.com is the blog. It's the Everybody Wins Bicep, and we are out.